What's going on, guys? Welcome to October's edition of Monthly Check-In. This month, I'm discussing new endeavors such as my Twitch stream and a lot of different things throughout my music career that I've been able to pursue, things that I never thought possible. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but for now, let's get into my 3 monthly picks that you should be checking out. First up, we have a track by one of my favorite MCs, Wale. This one's called What's the Play, featuring Chaz French. Wale recently announced that he is signed with Def Jam. That's kind of like his new label that he's under. I think he's going to be dropping an album soon as well, which I'm super excited about. He's going on tour. I think he's on tour like as we speak, actually. And he dropped a few different songs, 3 different songs at the time of this recording, and this was the most recent one. This is a nice little jam. It has more of a summertime feel, so it's kind of interesting he put it out toward the end of the summer into the fall. Definitely go check this one out. I wasn't really familiar with Chaz French, but he adds a nice little hook in there as well. I think Wale is one of the most slept on MCs that there is. I mean, super lyrical. I love the diversity in Wale's music, and he's always able to hop over different type of production and really thrive. And this song is another great example of that. So definitely go check that out, and the other 2 singles as well. I'm trying to think of the names. Mission Statement, I believe, was the one, which is produced by T-Minus, amazing producer, and Ghetto Speak, I believe, was the other one as well. So 3 songs, and hopefully, like I said, he's working toward dropping an album very soon, if not the end of this year, hopefully next year. So definitely go give that one a listen. Next up, we have a song called Say Less by Robert Glasper, who's one of my favorite pianists, composers, producers, instrumentalists all around. This one is featuring a MC named Jamari, and it's actually a flip by his son, Riley Glasper, who's also a producer. And this whole album called Code Derivation is essentially Robert doing compositions and then giving them to different producers so they can do their own flips of them. Like, I enjoyed the track that had Kareem Riggins on it. I enjoyed the High Tech flip. There's a lot of different songs on here. And it's like basically like a side A, side B type deal. So you'll hear like the original composition and then you'll hear the flip. So this one in particular was a flip, like I said, by his son. I thought it was pretty cool that, you know, at the beginning of the song, there is like a voicemail from Riley, and he's talking to his dad. And he's like, I did something crazy with this thing you just sent me. Like, check this out. And then you hear like how he flipped it from the original version. And the whole like concept of the album too, I think is super cool, that Robert kind of did that and kind of incorporated different producers. And I believe he had a mixtape in 2019. I forget what it was called, but it was kind of similar, where he incorporated a lot of different other producers and other hip hop artists too, and kind of infused jazz with hip hop, which I love those type of fusions so much. And this project has a lot of them. So Say Less was definitely my favorite one, but definitely go check out the full album. Currently, it's only on Apple Music, so if you have Apple Music, go give that a listen. It might be coming to other platforms soon, but definitely worth checking out. My final choice this month is a full EP that dropped at the end of August by one of my favorite producers and pianists named Mad Keys. I've been following Mad Keys' work since 2020, around the time that he worked with one of my favorite rappers, Stalley, on a EP called Pariah. So I figured, you know, discovered him through there, and then I've just been slowly checking out his own material over the past few months and past few years. Obviously, a few months ago, you remember I talked about Hugh Sound, which was his collaboration with Paris Price and Felix, which was awesome. And this one's no different. This is one of his first solo projects in the last like 2 or 3 years. And this is probably my favorite one to date. I mean, I just love the sequencing. It's a very short listen. I believe it clocks in at around 13 minutes. But what I thought was cool about this project is he was able to show the creation of this project on his different live streams on YouTube and Twitch. And if you go to his YouTube channel, you can actually see not only the listening session that he did for the project, but you can go back to some of the streams where he was mixing this project. And I was able to, you know, tune into some of those beforehand, before the project even got released. And so it's kind of cool when, you know, an artist or producer shows you their process, and it makes you feel more like a part of the project. Because I remember the first time I heard the project when it came out, I was like, wow, I remember hearing this on the stream and getting to see him like mixing it and asking people like, you think I should turn this sound up? You think I should replace this sound? It's just kind of cool to have that story infused into, you know, the project itself. So definitely go give that a listen. And super cool to think about. I should be interviewing Mad Keys in the next couple of weeks for the podcast. So hopefully by the time this is out, I will have already got to speak to Matt Keys and ask him more about this project. And I'm very excited for that interview. So hopefully that happens. So be on the lookout for that episode as well. But definitely go give this project a spin. All right, so now to the main point of today's video, today's topic, which is new endeavors. And that is, for me at least, approaching new endeavors as a music maker. I decided to touch on this topic as I've most recently began a new endeavor, which I've talked about on this channel, which is beginning my Twitch streams, doing those every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, by the way, so definitely tune in. I've been doing that for a little over a month now. But just, you know, when I began this idea and I started thinking of like, how am I gonna execute this and do these things? It made me think back to really just my beginnings in music and even just starting out producing. I remember how daunting the task was of even trying to learn production. And this was 2016. So this was right when I got out of high school, right when I was starting college. So I was already kind of overwhelmed with college. I had started a second job at that time as well. And I just remember thinking like, how am I gonna do this? And it's something new and something like, it honestly frightened me. And new things can be very scary. And I think at that time, I didn't really know how to deal with it. I didn't really know how to push through that in the right way to end up learning things and kind of growing from it. And for me, I had to spend, 3 to 4 years before I even really felt comfortable with making music to be like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna give up. But for that first year or so, it was very difficult. But I think what I learned from that new endeavor, which was like the big new endeavor, and still looking back on it, that was like the pivotal moment of where I am now. What I learned from that is moving forward, if I'm starting any type of new endeavor, I can almost look at that as kind of a benchmark, as like you did that super difficult thing. And even though this one looks daunting and this one looks difficult as well, you know you can do it because you've already proven to yourself and to others that you're able and you're capable of doing these things. Because I definitely remember the next big one that was like a super new endeavor that I never imagined doing was the podcast, which I started in 2020 during the pandemic. And I just remember being so nervous for that first interview, just being like, man, I got so much anxiety. What if I mess up? What if I say the wrong thing? But then I had that memory back to 4 years prior, and I was like, man, I felt the same way about making music, and look where I am now. I'm working with different artists. I've already put myself in the position to work on this podcast because of all the relationships I've garnered through music. So that allowed me to kind of have more of a calm mind and kind of pursue that from there. And once I got through those first few months of doing episodes, it just became like a normal thing up until now where, I've been doing it this long, 4.5 years at this point, and I've been able to talk to so many cool people, and being a podcaster was never even on my radar. So to be able to look back and be like, wow, that was another thing you did because you had the confidence prior to be able to keep going, that says a lot, honestly. So I would say definitely from my experience, the beginning is always the hardest part, but once you're able to push through, once you're able to really gain that confidence and that ability to say, I'm doing this for the right reasons, and I believe in myself, and I believe this is gonna help somebody else, you will find the courage and the strength to push through. And like I said, every time I need that reminder, I just think back to those early things that I was trying to do creatively. And I'm like, man, if I've tackled those big obstacles, I can do this too. I believe in myself. And that's how I feel right now about these streams, is like, I don't know anything about Twitch. I don't know anything about the platform. I'm just kind of, experimenting as I go and seeing what happens. But I know if I stick with it, it's going to really grow into something that I'm going to be proud of. And I'm going to look back and be like, yeah, I made the right decision to keep going and not give up. So hopefully that helps you out there in some type of way. Maybe you're thinking about starting music, or maybe you're thinking about starting a podcast or doing anything. It doesn't even have to be creative. Starting new endeavors is always very difficult. I think it's just in our nature to be scared of change or scared of something new. But like I said, from my experience, being able to start it and just keep going with it, and as long as it feels right to you, you're gonna keep going. And I hope this really is something that you guys can take and apply to your own journey. And let me know in the comments, have you had any experiences with this, something similar to the story that I have, or maybe something totally different? And what are your views on approaching new endeavors? But I hope this helps you guys and gives you like a new perspective as well. A few things to let you know about for the month of October before we get on out of here. The big one is the one I've been saying all video, which is the Twitch streams. Every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, go to twitch.tv/AnthonyChurch24. I'll leave the link in the description as well. And I'll be posting all the replays here on the YouTube channel as well. If you don't get to tune in, if you miss a topic we're discussing that you're interested in, I'll be posting all the replays here. And some of the replays are already up, so definitely go check those out as well. As far as music is concerned, definitely keep checking out Unknown Advantage, which is my new instrumental album. It is now streaming on all platforms. It's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. So you can check it out even if you didn't go to the Even link, which will still be in the description as well. But if you want to support on Even, definitely go still do that. It's still available. You can pay whatever you want to hear the album. But if you just want to listen casually, go listen to it on your favorite streaming platform. And a project I'm excited about, which is coming this month, is the first side of the EP I'm working on with Tommy G called Setbacks, which this will be side A. We got 3 tracks on this project. As of now, the date is October 18th, which this episode might be out by then, might not be out, I don't know, but be on the lookout for that. The single Champion will be on there, and we got 2 more tracks as well. And be on the lookout for side B and the complete collection coming soon. I'm very excited for my collaborations with Tommy. If you've heard Champion, expect some of that, but we got some new vibes too. If you love jazz hip hop, fusion hip hop, definitely go give this one a listen when it drops. Other than that, keep giving the podcast a listen, new episodes every Tuesday. And be on the lookout for what's to come. I'm excited. We got a couple months left in the year. Planning a lot of things for 2025 though, so be on the lookout. But until next time, thanks for tuning in this month for the monthly check-in, and take care and have a great week, guys.